Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about who is Bryan Kramer. Who is Bryan Kramer in Papua New Guinea politics? So today is about finding out who Bryan Kramer really is. So Bryan Kramer, if Papua New Guineans don't know, Bryan Kramer is a first-class conman in PNG political history, and history will remember as that. PNG must know the truth. Papua New Guinea are entitled to know the truth. And what is truth? The truth must be told without bias or without fear or favor. So here are some highlights about Bryan Kramer, Kramer's family, and the fat lies he has ever told in the Papua New Guinea politics. Since Papua New Guineans have short memories, let me rephrase your memories. Here is Bryan Kramer with his adopted father and his auntie. Here is Bryan Kramer's real father. His name is Jim Barrel. Jim Barrel is the biological father of Bryan Kramer. Here is Bryan Kramer and Jim Barrel during one of the maybe Bryan Kramer's sister's wedding. So Papua New Guinea need to know the family history of Bryan Kramer so that we know who we are supporting and who is Bryan Kramer. Bryan Kramer's biological mother is Eunice Solomon from Rarotonga, Tuvalu, and Germany mix. Okay, there is a outline toto. Gosem outline toto ke am to gosem. Leaf lo banana is how a punani go beg last lo banana and dry. So that is to talk lo ausman. Bana can dance lo kan win em lolo Makam Valley or CRC or one map in Jala Papua New Guinea or one map Konal world. Banana time leave em in dry but go back lo ask lo banana. That is the truth and ausman to talk. Well, Papa passing is like story lo mdol pigini em lo pigini olim. Mbla understanding meaning blo this la story. So Papua New Guinea need to know when it comes to know business, economy, or politics and business, Papua New Guinea must survey us, and everything starts from the family. The fat lies, Bryan Kramer's fat lies was 2.4 billion USB loan, which Bryan Kramer claiming is he claimed that Peter only enriched himself from the 2.4 billion USB loan, but Bryan Kramer is yet to prove on a black and white the proof of how Peter only enriched himself from the 2.4 billion. That is why I call it fat white lies that Bryan Kramer ever told to the people of Papua New Guinea. The fact check is the 30 million commission of inquiry. And that 30 million commission of inquiry has found nothing. They found nothing to acquit Peter O'Neill for the corruption. That means that 30 million kina was just wasted because of Bryan Kramer's fat lies. So that was the golden arrow Bryan Kramer used to expose and say Peter O'Neill was corrupt and blah, blah, blah. From the 2.4 billion, and Commission of Inquiry is yet to prove, yet to acquit Peter O'Neill for misappropriation of 2.4 billion. And in the process, Papua New Guinea government has wasted 30 million taxpayers' money. And that is because of just one fellow who are critical about this issue, and that is Bryan Kramer, and he is yet to prove to the people of Papua New Guinea. The truth about Bryan Kramer. The reason why Bryan Kramer lied to people of Papua New Guinea is, one, Bryan Kramer was Paladin security contract middleman who was, let me say that he was the first person or the key person to lobby for the establishment of managed refugee camp and illegally and got a contract through some kind of dubious or corrupt way to get out with it. And number two, Bryan Kramer benefited $1 million Australian from the Paladin security contract as a middleman, the front man, the key man, the chief architect or the mastermind. Number three, he continued to benefit from Paladin security businesses as one of the director till 2012. Paladin security is a family-related business. And number five, he directly benefited from his company too, the Tactical Solution International. Even today, he's still benefiting from that. So Papua New Guinea need to know the truth. They need to know the truth. So Bryan Kramer, from that money that he has benefited, he funded the Pangu Party. He was making 500,000 Kina monthly, and he had enough money to fund Pangu Party to form the new government with James Marape, but he himself was not present at the floor of parliament when James Marape was nominated, but it was part of the game. It was part of the game. The main reason why Bryan Kramer went against Peter O'Neill, lying to the people of Papua New Guinea, is because Peter O'Neill allowed Australian authority to investigate the Paladin security contract with the managed refugee camp. That is the reason. The main reason Bryan Kramer went against Peter O'Neill is because Peter O'Neill allowed for investigation. That is the main reason why Bryan Kramer went against Peter O'Neill. So this is the report here. The Bryan Kramer on the 28th of February 2019, Peter O'Neill allowed Australian authority to do the investigation on the Paladin security contract. That is the reason where Bryan Kramer was so angry with Peter O'Neill, so he went on the Facebook and rally around the gullible, primitive, illiterate people to support him and label Peter O'Neill as the most corrupt man and blah, 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 blah. And he is yet to prove about his claim about 2.4 billion. Here are some points that you can see that Bryan Kramer was big beneficiary. Bryan Kramer was big beneficiary, and if you see here, you see this deal was a controversial. This 423 million Australian dollar was a controversial deal with the managed refugee camp, and the procurement process and this everything was just, there was no tender. The procurement was just flawed. Everything was under the table, and this story just penetrated to the Parliament of Papua New Guinea, but everything was done through bribery. It was collaboratively done, and the speaker, Mr. Honorable Job Pomat, knew about this too, but he never said anything because he was involved in that too. And the involvement of Bryan Kramer as a director with the Black Swan, and the way he resigned and moved on and claimed that he was standing in for a family and things like that, everything was just, they were trying to thwart, or they were trying to cover up. He was trying to cover up from his mistakes or his corruption deals, and he did not want his primitive Facebook followers to know about that. So he was doing cover up, but he was trying to do everything, but he couldn't because he left the trails behind, and the trails will continue to hunt him. Okay, in here, when you look at it, Bryan Kramer was a big beneficiary for that $423 million Australian dollar. So you see, when you look at this, the controversy that's surrounding that 423 million Australian dollar, there was no, let me rephrase that again. You see, this controversial surrounding the 423 million dollar was never acquitted, and no one is yet to be held accountable for all these, this Watergate, so-called Paladin security and managed refugee and Watergate. These reports are still yet to come out, and this report needs to be tabled at the floor of Parliament for people of Papua New Guinea to know what has happened with Paladin security Watergate thing, and Papua New Guinea has a right to know about it. Here, when you see the Bryan Kramer resign from the Black Swan security because he knew the bubble was already about to bust. He knew that he will be accountable, he will be acquitted because of this illegal security contracting with managed refugee camps. So he played his cards smoothly. And went out, but like I said, he left the trails and his lies, his fat lies will continue to be exposed, and he will be haunted till the history will remember him as a first-class con man. So Bryan Kramer lied to the people of Papua New Guinea by saying that he was standing in for family. You see, he was standing in for family. This is just an excuse, he was just given an excuse to cover up and trying to act cool and look clean and things like that. But Paladin security was it was a jackpot, It was a jackpot for Bryan Kramer and his family, making and milking millions of dollars out of it. So Bryan Kramer still benefited, This was a family business, family-related business. Everybody know each other. So Bryan Kramer still benefited with Paladin security, Black Swan, and even the Tactical Solution, which is his own company now, is run by his friend, or his, I will say the co-accomplice, Christopher Carroll. And this, when you look at this Tactical Solution International is registered as IPS, nationally owned, but the name speaks itself because it's international. It seems like companies owned somewhere else but pretend to register in Papua New Guinea and say that it is a nationally owned company, but in fact this is how family business are run. So family come before business and politics. You must remember that. Banatu liblo banatu am dry am bago begla ase. Am sapuna no begla as. Suppose understanding this la yet train plenty libro smugu marijuana yet na kama banna republic, because bottom line, we will never do anything. We will continue to support Bamlo continue to support Losla Giaman Blonman no Conman about Bayumi Bakek until our children too, all back my same kind of yet. So these are some of the very main thing, some of the very important points when we like looking. Chief architecture and masterminder of Paladin security Manus Island Refugee Camp Watergate. Number one, chief architecture, chief architecture, masterminder, main middleman, chief lobbyist for Paladin security contract and Manus Refugee Camp was, you must remember that it's Mr. Bryan Kramer, and he benefited $1 million Australian for successfully getting the contract done without tender process and procurement process and everything. Bryan Kramer just bent the rules around, broke the laws around just to get his way and making millions of dollars from the Paladin security contract overnight, and he became an overnight millionaire with his family. So when Peter O'Neill gave the green light for Paladin security to be investigated, that's when Mr. Bryan Kramer jumped up and down and, trying to personally attack Peter O'Neill on social media and blah blah everything. He just go rampant, go wild. And then the most of the light that he focused was 2.4 billion. This is how Bryan Kramer lied to the people of Papua New Guinea. He is yet to prove to the people of Papua New Guinea. And with that fraud money that he got, that money when still working corruption, I'm funding Pangupati, the former government by James Marape. Na ibla sawa ya time parliament sitting James Marape Bryan Kramer no established parliament. He was in the office drinking some Kool-Aid, enjoying. He knew that his money was working on the floor of parliament. After James Marape became prime minister, James Marape gave him police minister. And what did the police minister do? He covered up the controversial Paradise security managed refugee camp in the controversial Kenya. It just covered up. He didn't want the investigation to go on. And Papua New Guinea need to know the report about it. And when he was emphasizing on the commission of inquiry, 30 million was lost. 30 million just wasted. UBS loan, there was no flow or there was no run. Nothing was found to acquit Peter O'Neill. About 2.4 billion, that was a lie. And Bryan Kramer lied to the people of Papua New Guinea about 2.4 billion USD loan. And that is how Papua New Guinea are still not seeing the truth yet. Bryan Kramer jumped from police minister to health minister, playing his card, trying to make him back. He's trying to make his money back. I'm spending money low. Pangupati, so now I'm like him back money, and so I'm collaborating police minister, Kamagoro, health minister, COVID-19 presented a good environment where good business opportunity for him to make millions overnight. Hey, Bryan Kramer, that's how Bryan Kramer made money. And when you look very closely, Bryan Kramer played his cards smoothly with millions he made from Paladin security managed island refugee camp. One, Bryan Kramer banked his money into Pangupati to appoint James Marape as prime minister. He got police minister and taught the investigation into controversial Paladin security Manus Island refugee camp contract or whatever in Watergate, and then jump up and down from police minister to health minister. It's a clear indication how he controlled James Marape government through his money's worth. Bryan Kramer, the smart man straight. COVID-19 was or is time for him to make some money, some profit from his investment to Pangupati, COVID-19 President the good like Bryan Kramer making money, so he's on the TV, number one man of this coronavirus. Health Minister bloody asshole, fucking useless, told he doesn't respect whosoever. He is the boss because his money is working in Pangupati. That's why Bryan Kramer is always on the news and always on the noon and everywhere, on the Facebook to media to everywhere, making money overnight, become an overnight millionaire, enlarging his National Alliance Party, have goals and ambition to, become a prime minister and continue to plunder this country and invest his investment in Australia and back to his family in Australia elsewhere, not in Papua New Guinea. James Marape will find it hard to remove this guy or change him or whatever, because Bryan Kramer money was pumped into Pangupati to form the James Marape government in 2019 during the vote of no confidence. So that is how the corrupt money from the Manus Paladin security to Manus refugee camp back to Pangupati, and now Bryan Kramer is always looking for ways how he can make that money back. This is a slight review, just a little review of what you are missing out from the truth, and I will continue to tell you the truth in the next coming days. And if you like this video, make some comment. If you don't like it, just try to learn something. If you feel painful about this video, at least you learn something. Don't be too emotional, don't be too personal, because you and me, we will never benefit or we will never have the dream that we have. If we don't do it, if we don't stand up for our rights and tell the truth, our children will continue to be the victims of lies and fat white lies ever told by politicians like Bryan Kramer. And Bryan Kramer will be remembered in the history as first-class conman in Papua New Guinea history. I am Isa Gobma, peace be with you, and that's my word, and I approve it under my name. Cheers.